G'day and welcome to the Inforunners. Today I'm joined by
Osiris Frost.
and I'm Execute. So today we're going to be talking about the Corsair, and the possibility of this ship has been long rumoured and talked about for the upcoming anniversary sale this year. And we kind of started thinking about the Corsair and is it out yet or is it going to come out? And our reasonings for this will be very clear in a moment. Um, I guess where we started with this is what would a Drake exploration ship be? So Osiris, where did we start with that?
Well, we thought it would be something that had the ability to scan for other ships so that you could engage those other ships and conduct piracy against them. And then you'd obviously need the cargo capacity to take their stuff away. You need the gunnery to reasonably fight them off or defeat them, and the scanning capability, like I mentioned. But we thought that maybe a little bit that scanning would even tread on the toes of the Terrapin.
Yeah. So I guess in short, what we're kind of trying to say here is like the piracy part of Drake comes into play. So they tell everyone it's an exploration ship, but really it's a ship for finding people and stealing their shit. And when you really look at this, it does, as Osiris said, come very close to what the Terrapin is capable of doing, and it makes you wonder how much it treads on its toes. And I guess the other part of that was we started to go in, well, what pirate roles do we have? And what are the words I'm looking for? Would they have possibly might have changed this from exploration to something more Drake-like? So we kind of think what happened is they've possibly released this ship already as the Mercury Star-Runner because they've possibly moved it into info running, which we already have seen in another Drake ship, which is the Herald. And the reason for doing this and moving it into the Mercury Star-Runner is clearly they need more ships for the Crusader. But there are some really interesting little tidbits that I'll let Osiris tell you to why this may be the case.
Yeah. Well, like you said, there's already the precedent. They talked about the Star Lifter in the contest where they concepted these, and that so Crusaders already borrowed a ship from that contest. But in addition to that, we have the fact that the Star Runner is the first human asymmetrical ship. And like you said, Crusader needed more ships. The three main ships from this contest were the Vulcan, the Vulture, the Kraken, which we've already seen. So it's possible that this last one got pinched as well. The Star Runner has the info running capability, absolutely, and that and the asymmetric, or excuse me, the asymmetry kind of nod to the Drake origins of the ship.
Yeah, it's actually the first the first human non-Drake asymmetrical ship, because asymmetry has been a real hallmark, so to speak, with a lot of the Drake ships. And if they didn't end up with it, there was actually a concept somewhere along the way that showed them. And an example of that's the Herald. A lot of people pitch for the Herald because it was asymmetrical. And all that said and done, and people are probably going, "What are you talking about? The Mercury Star-Runner is not the Corsair." But we actually are hoping we're kind of wrong, because if you actually read this original pitch, we're going to bring it up. Just have a look at this. Read that out for me, Osiris, and just listen as Osiris reads it, how cool this sounds.
Yep. So this is the description of what the Corsair is from the You Pick the Next Drake competition. And it says, Drake's competitor to the Constellation, the rough and ready multi-crew explorer. It differs from the 600i by its crude basic construction and from the Constellation by its lower missile count, but with a third turret to make up for it. Able to transport a vehicle and cargo, think an extended upscaled Cutlass rear area. It's faster and more nimble than the others, but like all Drake ships, it's pretty paper thin. And this is a really interesting concept, isn't
it? It really is, and the more time we've had to unpack this, the more interesting it becomes, and we keep finding little tidbits inside it. But like the first thing I think of is just the upscaled and extended cutlass. It's one of the best ships in the game for people. It's one of the most favorite ships in the game at the moment, around the 3.0 to where we're heading now with the planets and stuff. And if you just made that larger, people are going to jump on that. One of the things that we mentioned, and talks what you were saying about the dragonfly and attacking people.
Oh yeah. Can you imagine this? If you get this ship and it's fast and it has the extra guns, and you scan, you find like a lone prospector out in the asteroid field. You jump in on it, unsuspecting, light it up with your turrets. You open the side doors of your bigger cargo bay, and you pour out a bunch of dragonflies, and you totally overwhelm this poor prospector. Take all his stuff, and then get out of there before any help can arrive.
Because how many can you fit in the cutlass? Is it 2 or 3? I haven't tried for a little bit. It might. Let's just say
For,
it's 2. But even if it's only 4 in this, that still gives you a massive advantage. And if it can fit 2 cyclones where the cutlass can fit 1, if it's literally just doubles everything that the cutlass
yeah.
can do, it will be very, very popular. And I love the idea of those 3 turrets and it going up against a constellation with 2, and it really becomes this slower ship versus this faster ship that's weaker, but it's got bigger guns. It's kind of like a glass cannon where the constellation's kind of like riding the middle ground, which is really what the Cutlass does really well. It's the jack of all trades. It just sits right in the middle of everything.
If you think about it, this ship, even it almost approaches like a caterpillar as far as opening up those side doors and the cargo capacity and what kind of vehicles it can carry in there. I mean, I'm kind of expecting, based on this description, something to slot in between the Cutlass and the caterpillar.
Yeah, I'm like, and it's kind of interesting you mentioned the caterpillar because it's kind of it's probably the only worrying thing. Like, how is this going to tread on the caterpillar? Because you think about things like the chop shop and what you mentioned with the dragonflies coming out. Is this ship going to steal a bit of that thunder? Like, why would you take out this really long, lengthy, kind of slow now caterpillar when you can take out a smaller one that can maybe only carry half as much, but it'll just get to the job and it'll be able to outmaneuver those smaller ships and put all that gunfire on them, where they'll see the Cutlass coming and not the Cutlass, sorry, the caterpillar coming and flee.
I think it's going to have a lot to do with what kind of modularity we end up seeing in the caterpillar. But I agree, your point. This is a much faster sounding raiding ship than the caterpillar is.
And I think there's a place there for it. I think, yeah, interesting. And if it is, how do I put this? You'd want it to hopefully be a big ship, not a medium ship. But by the same token, if it's medium, now we know we've got the Drake Kraken. That's just another cool ship you can have sitting on the deck there. So,
yeah.
All right, I think we'll have that as a short and sweet one this week. All the other boys are very busy at the moment with different jobs, so hopefully this is the last one before we get one of the other guys back, which would be great. So if you like this video, give it a like. If you don't like this video, give it a dislike and tell us why either way. That'd be great. Tell us what you think about the possibility of the Mercury Star-Runner possibly already being the Corsair, but also, what do you think of this ship as it is presented by CIG? And obviously our hope, we hope we're wrong. We really do hope we're wrong. But it is a possibility. So you've got the spectrum of good to bad, and you can tell us where you think it possibly falls. Subscribe if you like our content. Get on Discord, join us in conversation. We love having people on. We've got a lot of more people jumping on there regularly now and having conversations with us that sparks ideas and helps us come up with ideas for shows. We have suggestions on there as well, so you can drop some lines if you do want to suggest some episodes. All right, this has been Osiris. I've been Execute. You guys have a great week. Catch you next week.
See ya.